Good morning, my brother. Hope you're doing well on today. Today is March 12th, 2025, and we're here to offer your heart medicine message for today. So I invite everybody just to take a couple of deep breaths here as we call in spirit to share with us what it is that's important for us to know, to hold, to be with, to practice on today in order to heal our hearts, in order to revitalize our spirits, in order to nurture our souls. All right, and here's the card for today. So I invite you to keep taking a couple deep breaths here as I receive what the message is. Okay, so vulnerability is not going to kill you. Some of you seem to feel, think, believe, maybe you've experienced where a sense that to be vulnerable means to expose yourself to harm. That is what vulnerability is. Vulnerability means you're going to expose yourself to harm. But that's not the truth of what vulnerability is. In truth, vulnerability is about tapping into your own internal tenderness and your own internal humanity. You are a fragile, tender being, and that is not the same thing as being weak or not strong or not capable. What it means is that you are special, you're precious, right? When you're moving, and I actually happen to be moving soon into a new apartment, and you're putting things in boxes, you often put the most significant, precious, valuable things into boxes, and then you'll put what on the side of it? Fragile, right? And that doesn't mean that those things lack strength or lack importance, or but what it means and what you're trying to signal to people is that these things are of value, and if you don't handle them appropriately, it is possible to break them, right? And so to be fragile is to honor the reality that you and your heart deserves to be treated with tenderness, with care, with intention, because you're valuable and you're important. So your vulnerability is not about opening yourself up or exposing yourself to harm per se, but it's really about how do you nurture and create for yourself in your life spaces where you can show up and say, I'm important and I'm fragile, so handle me with care. If anything, it's more a declaration of truth, a declaration of self, a declaration of honoring. So on today, I really want you all to take some time actually just to be with your understanding and your definition of vulnerability, and really kind of allow yourself to unpack what are the stories, the narratives, what are your beliefs about vulnerability. You might sit and write down a list of vulnerability is, finish the sentence, and finish it as many times with the definitions you have. You might put, if I am vulnerable, then finish that sentence. What does that mean? And so you can really start to see what are the narratives and the stories that you're telling yourself about vulnerability, about what it means for you in your life, about what it's doing for you, what it's doing in the world, so that you can also begin to unearth what does spirit actually tell you about what vulnerability means for you. Um, Now is really the time to begin to break down these barriers and these strongholds on us that keep us from experiencing seeing intimacy with ourselves and intimacy with others. And blocks around vulnerability are significant to that. If you cannot share with the people that you love and you care about what's going on for you emotionally, if you cannot share with the people that you love and you care about, that you're afraid, that you're scared, what your worries are, what your anxieties are. And not only that, because sometimes we think vulnerability is about the, quote, negative things, but it's also about sharing with people, what are your dreams? What are your passions? What are you hoping for in life? What do you deeply, deeply desire for your life? Again, it's those precious things that are important to you. And so it's important that you and others handle those things with tenderness and with care. And so being able to have a well-nurtured heart and life requires vulnerability. So spend some time today, unpack what is it that you really think and feel about vulnerability, and then invite in spirit to transform and transmute those beliefs that aren't serving you, that are keeping you from vulnerability, that are having you put all your most precious things in a box, closing the box, then not telling anybody they're in there, and then now you're being harmed, right? It's quite the opposite. Vulnerability doesn't expose you to harm. Not being vulnerable does, because nobody knows what's in there. So invite spirit to help you open up that box, you be with what's in there, and then empower you to see that naming those things as fragile, as valuable, as precious is not what's gonna cause you harm, but not doing that is what's gonna cause you harm. And allowing yourself to do that allows people to really see you, really handle those things and who you are and your vulnerability with care and with intention, and allow you to lead your life and move through the world in a way that you have an open heart and an open spirit. All right? If nobody's told you today, my brother, I absolutely love you so much. For all of the times that you have pushed past your fear in order to be vulnerable, I want you to be proud of yourself for that, regardless of the outcome, because it takes great courage. And I'm here to support you in continuing to move forward in your vulnerability, and certainly so is spirit. You're so essential to this world, and I'm so glad that you're here. Peace.